All right, folks. Tonight we're going to take a look at a ship that is, I don't want to say controversial, but it definitely is a love it or hate it type ship. We've done World of Tanks videos for a long time, and the closest tank I could relate this to is the Super Pershing. And that is because the Super Pershing has such a varied opinion on the tank. Some people swear to God it's the best tank ever made. Some people swear to God that it's the worst tank ever made. The Yubari has come under a similar type of designation or box that it's been shoved into. It's in the love-hate box. So what is the Yubari? Well, I think that part of the problem is that the Yubari is not quite sure what the Yubari is. In fact, if we look at the stats over up on the right-hand side by the ship commander, you're going to see there survivability, artillery, torpedoes, guns, maneuverability, and concealment. Now, let's take a look at the Gremyashki. Notice how the curve is almost the same. While the Yubari has a little bit less maneuverability and a little bit less concealment, the curve is almost exactly the same as it is on the Gremyashki. So what we have here is a cruiser that thinks it's a destroyer, or possibly the other way around. It's a destroyer that thinks it's a cruiser, however you want to look at it. It is a somewhat agile ship. It has guns that turn pretty well. The guns don't do a whole lot of damage. One of the areas that's interesting about the Yubari, and unfortunately they've done a nerf to this, I guess, since the last time, or when it first came out. It used to have an 8.2 kilometer range. Well, they've smacked us down. They've taken away the range and brought it down to 6 kilometers. The reason why they've done this is because the torpedoes do 1,200 damage a hit, or a little bit over. They can. Now, they don't always do that much damage, but they have the potential of doing up to 1,200 damage. That is enough to sink many ships with one torpedo or 2 torpedoes. You can get 2 of these into the side of any Tier 5 destroyer, any Tier 5 cruiser, some of the aircraft carriers, and even some of the battleships. It's enough to put them into a watery grave. So the torpedoes are definitely a strange thing on the Yubari. And that brings up a second point that people don't like about this ship. When you're using these torpedoes, they have a very narrow arc. So in other words, if I'm driving my Gremyashki, and let's say this mountain over here is my target, well, if I turn my ship a little bit, I'll be able to hit it using the torpedoes. I'll fire my torpedoes off this way. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I'm pointing between the ship and the mountain. Unfortunately, with the Yubari, you're going to have to turn the ship 90 degrees so that your target lies somewhere between the little crane here parked at the dock over to these boxes and the other crane. So you have a very narrow scope, and you'll see this as I'm playing the ship. The scope for the torpedo launching is very, very narrow, and a lot of people don't like that, and it is hard to get used to. You're going to have to run broadside at your opponent while you aim up and fire. You can't, come at them and shoot. You're going to have to do it from the side. So there's 2 hard things about the torpedo. So really, honestly, unless you get the jump on somebody or you're going against an aircraft carrier, you're going to have a hard time getting torpedo strikes with this ship. And I've noticed that. I do, unless you're like 2 or 3 kilometers away and they have no idea that you're there, it's really hard to get a good hit. But when you do hit, it's a good hit. So as far as attack strength goes, this ship is kind of an odd duck. It doesn't have amazing guns. They're not bad. Once again, let's take a look at the guns. If we look at the artillery, we have a main battery, and we have two by 140 millimeter cannons. And then it has a second armament that fires by itself, but it's only one cannon. So it's not a big deal. But your main battery, it does some damage here. So we got maximum HE damage of 2,900, maximum AP damage of 2,700. I fire mostly HE when I drive this ship, and it has a pretty decent chance of fire. It's got a 24-second degree traverse or turning time. Maximum dispersion of 121 meters. They're not super accurate, but they're not bad. And look at the 9.2 rounds a minute. So you're firing every couple seconds, you're able to get a salvo off. That's kind of nice. And I have ripped up things, and you'll see in my demo video that I'm going to show you the 2 battles that I did, where I was ripping stuff up with the guns. I was also missing a lot of shots because I suck, but at Tier 4, this ship has a firing range of 12.8, almost 13 kilometers. That's not bad for a Tier 4 ship. It's going to outdistance some of the American guns, so you'll actually be able to shoot ships that can't hit you back. You're going to be at the very edge of their range while you're able to hit them. So that's kind of a nice feature. But once again, the amount of damage that you do is not really anything to write home about. You're there to harass. Okay, so that brings us to the last strange point about this ship, or odd thing, and it's really the biggest thing. Where the Yubari, where its strength lies, is in the anti-aircraft guns. It's got, as you can see here, it's got a whole bunch of different guns. They have a decent range. I think it's 3 kilometers, maybe 3.5, something like that, maybe even 4. But supposedly they are the best anti-aircraft guns available in the game, is my understanding. I'm not positive about that, but anyway, they're very strong, and they are very strong. So this ship gets pigeonholed into a very strange role. It is not going to be an aggressor. It is a defense-style ship. Where you need to be in your Yubari, if you can, is somewhere near your slower-moving ships. Your job is to get rid of the bombers and the torpedo fighters that are going to come in from your enemy aircraft. You could also protect them from enemy fighters that are trying to shoot them down. So you are basically an anti-aircraft ship. It sounds really weird. It sounds like it's not going to be fun to play, and a lot of people don't get the hang of it. And I've definitely taken, several battles to get to the point where I feel comfortable with this ship. But once I figured out where to be and how to play the ship, I'm finding that it's actually a lot of fun to play. So don't get discouraged, and don't necessarily believe everything that you read on the forums. People look at this and go, oh, it's a piece of crap and it's a piece of junk. Yeah, it is, sort of. But I actually enjoy this ship, and once you find the groove, it's a very unique ship so far that I've found in this game. I haven't really found any other ship that plays just like this one. It is a unique ship, and I think that's what we're looking for in these pre-order specials. So, and I got to be honest with you, after playing this game for a month or so, I feel like most of the ships are kind of like, this ship's just a little bit better than that one. Yeah, this ship's just a little bit better than that one. You kind of just work your way up the cruisers. Each one gets a little bit better. You work your way up the destroyer. Each one gets up a little, but they're all kind of vanilla. So it's strange to find a ship that really stands out. And in this case, it's the Yubari. The Gremyashki also stands out, and the Sim stands out. All 3 of the pre-order ships do stand out from the rest of the crowd, in good ways and in bad. So now that we're speaking on anti-aircraft, this is one of the things that people have a problem with in this ship. Let's take a look here. If we go into the modules, okay, well, first we're going to look at the Sims. If I go into the Sims, I have 4 modules to pick from. This number 4 module gives me the option. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, no, it's number 2. There's a $250,000 anti-aircraft gun modification, which can give you plus 20% to the anti-aircraft firing range. Wouldn't that be awesome to have that on the Yubari? But lo and behold, it is not an option. All you get are the defensive options, like to protect your batteries, or the damage control systems. You do not get the option to upgrade that. There's a lot of stir on the forum and on different places that I've visited and reviews that I've seen, people complaining about it not having that ability. Well, that does suck. There is a way to get around that. Let's take a look at our commander. Once your commander starts earning his stripes, you'll be able to add some of these benefits. The first one is going to be this, your secondary armament. So the first perk that you want for the Yubari definitely is going to be the basic fire training. I also did some ship survivability. I could have bypassed this, but I did. I also did the increase in the torpedo tubes. But where this comes in is if you follow this line, the secondary armament line, your third perk that you can get, you have to have 3 skill points to get this, so it's going to take a while. Here you get the same thing, plus 20% to the AA defense power while this ability is active, and we'll talk about that in a second. Negative 30% to skill preparation time. So not only do you get a boost in how fast you can prep your skills, but you also get this special mode, and I have it on, I think it's the Sims that I have it, where if there's aircraft coming in, you can hit the Y key, and your crew that arm the AA guns are going to go on red alert. And for the next 20 seconds or 30 seconds, I think it's 20 seconds, they go into a high alert function and they start shooting down more aircraft. So they all of a sudden become better at their jobs for 20 seconds. Their alert goes up. And then after a while, it goes back down. After 20 seconds, it goes back down to normal, and you have to wait another minute before you can use it again. But if you have bombers coming in, as soon as they get within, 3 or 4 kilometers, you hit the button, and all of a sudden, they're all getting shot down. And I'll tell you what, I don't have this perk on this ship yet, but I did have it on my, I think it's either the Murmansk or the Sims, and I used it, and it did shoot down all of the airplanes that were in the clutch of aircraft that were flying over. So you can do a lot of aircraft damage. And last but not least, this perk is also going to be one that you want, your advanced fire training. It gives you 20% to your attack distance, 20% to the radius of engagement, and a plus 10% to your main armament. Now, that's not a huge deal for me because I'm not going to be using that. And it says for destroyers, and this is not a destroyer. So my main armament's not going to really help, but it's really going to help my anti-aircraft. So, once again, this is a very unique ship, and it needs to be played in a different manner than most of the ships. Your job is to screen and protect your allies. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. Now, you kind of have the same thing in destroyers because the destroyers have smoke screens. It's the same idea. You use your smoke screen not only to protect yourself, but to protect your friendlies that are around you. If you're all in the cap and you're trying to cap and you're getting pushed, well, pop a smoke screen and hide everybody so that it's harder for the enemies to hit you. The Yubari has a very unique role in that it's not doing the smoke, it's doing anti-aircraft. All right, last but not least, because this is a cruiser but almost a destroyer, I think it's important to cover both the maneuverability and the concealment. Though you don't have a smoke screen, the ship does have pretty decent quote-unquote camo. It's hard to pick up. But it does get picked up when you start firing your guns. So if you're firing your anti-aircraft, if you're firing your main batteries, you're getting picked up. So, but it has decent concealment. The other thing is the maneuverability is top notch. Your goal is not to go head to head with any ship, even a destroyer if you can. I've done it. The first battle I played before I recorded 3 battles. What you're going to see here in a minute are 2 battles in a row. But the one right before that, I went out, I tried to take on a destroyer, and he nuked me. So, and it was bad driving or bad steering on my part. But you're really not designed to take a ship head to head. And if they start firing on you, your safest bet is just to turn tail and run. Get out of there. Weave, put your butt to them, and get away. Don't stay in that area. And that's one of the things that makes the torpedoes hard to launch because you're mostly going to not wanting to get anywhere near anybody. You want to keep your distance and just be going after the aircraft. So let's go ahead and run this ship. Well, it's a replay, but you know what I mean. All right, so we have a battle in progress here. And you can see I'm cruising along, looking at my main battle fleet, and I'm also looking at the map and kind of figuring, well, I'll do a little bit of spotting first, and then I'm going to cut across the middle because, the airplanes are going to come in here somewhere. And the first cruiser is spotted. And look above us. We have a bomber coming in. I'm looking at that cruiser, and you can see here the nice range on the guns. He's far away, but he is in range. So I'm going to take a couple shots. Why not? In the meantime, the bombers have flown off, and they're getting kind of far away from me, so I'm not quite as directed towards them as I should have been. But here comes some torps. And my job is to get in between them and my ships. They become especially vulnerable when they slow down to fire their weapons. So if I can get in there before they get into our... now they're in range. You can see here they're at 3.5 kilometers, 3.2. Once they hit 3, I'm going to start firing. So there they go. So you can imagine, once I get those perks added, the kind of damage that I'm going to be able to do to these airplanes. Comes more bombers, and we're still firing at them. They did get some torpedoes off, but it's early in the battle. Most of the ships will survive. And we've done some damage, and now we have a bunch of ships here that are firing, so, you know, there goes our first shot down. And I'm just going to kind of follow in here, because you know they're going to come back. But I believe they have to go to their carrier first to refuel. So I'm just going to poke around here and see if I can't make myself useful. Sorry for the sniffing. It is still allergy season. It did rain last night. That helped a little bit. And that guy's moving. I might be able to get a couple hits on him, but you can see here I'm at a pretty good distance. And I'm maneuverable enough that if I see a volley of bullets coming towards me, I should have time to respond and move. That was too short. Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. Give him a little more leeway. There we go. Set him on fire. Nick the mountain. And as of right now, I have become a derelict to my duties, and that is to get back there and protect our ships from the airplanes. So I'm going to start heading back that way and still making trouble for these guys. Yeah, so that's, you know, the guns aren't bad. You're not doing a ton of damage, but if you can set fires and stuff like that, you're just there to harass. And really, your primary role is to get rid of these airplanes. And once again, that is one of the things that people are going to have a hard time with, is that your primary role is a secondary role. And unfortunately, if you get in a situation where, you know, all of your guys are dead and you're the last one, you're going to have a hard time taking down those remaining ships. If they're battleships, you could pretty much kiss it goodbye. But if you can cap, or at least draw, well, that's a different story. And I think in this game, from what I've seen so far, I'm not so sure a draw counts as a loss, because I've got a 54% win rate right now. And I also have, it keeps the draws separate. It has victories, draws, and losses. I'm not sure that they're calculating draws as losses anymore, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But right now we've got these bombers to worry about, and they're over there screwing around with our battleships again. So I'm going to start heading that direction and see if I can't get in between them and the aircraft carrier on their way back. Oh, and look who pops up. The carrier is under attack from our destroyer. That's good news for our team. And I'm just looking around, trying to assess the situation. These guys are going up over that mountain. I'm going to try to get over towards the carrier. Nothing like heading the horses off on their way home. And there they are. There's our St. Louis. One of the things that I didn't mention is that because the ship is on tier 4, even though you're losing some of the perk abilities because you're such a low tier, it is a lot. This is the lowest tier premium ship that you can buy from the pre-order ship bundles. And that, you know, if you're new at the game, it's I don't know, it's hard because it's not an easy learning curve on this ship, so I can't say that it's a good buy. But for somebody who's been around a little bit in the game, and unfortunately if you're looking at getting in by buying this ship, well, I would buy this ship and then play and I'm starting to get some hits going on here because I'm getting too close. But I want to get near those airplanes if I can, and unfortunately I'm the nearest thing to all of those guys over there, so I'm just going to have to keep weaving and trying to stay alive here. If you do decide to buy this ship as your pre-order ship, since it is the cheapest of the bunch, I would suggest buying it, letting it sit in your port while you learn how to play the game with your other ships. That's really, I think, the best thing that you can do with this ship, is just to set it aside until you get better. And I'm talking maybe, 50 games, 60 games, get some experience, learn how to play the game, And then you'll be able to go out and do okay in the ship, because that's about where I'm at. I think I have maybe like 60 battles under my belt, maybe 70. So I'm fairly new. Still definitely a noob. But it's I've gotten to the point where I can handle the ship. Now, that was a big mistake. I didn't see those coming in. I was busy watching the airplanes, and of course I took a big hit there. Thankfully, he did not do any damage to any of my modules, so everything survived. And now, of course, I'm turned, so it's a little bit harder for him to hit me. And I've got 2 airplanes shot down now. I'm going to let these destroyers go after the cruiser, and I'm going to, allow the smoke to protect my ship. I'm going to kind of go hidden here. Now, the downside is the anti-aircraft guns are still going to fire, and that does give me away. So, as you can see here, I'm just firing anyway. But the smoke will still, help a little bit. And there you can get a nice hit with the guns. Once again, the bombers are out. And I'm doing some serious damage to that carrier. And he's a goner. The torps are out. The destroyers have done their job. And I'm still over here working on these bombers, the dive bombers, and also going after the torpedoes. The torpedoes are 2 kilometers away. And I'll definitely get some more airplanes shot down before this battle's over. There's one. And there's more coming. He just launched his torpedoes at that battleship. Notice how they don't even bother with me. I'm too agile for them to bother trying to shoot at me, because I'm just going to avoid them if they do. And he knows that. So now we're up to 4, I believe. And yeah, they're getting away. Fortunately, the ship is not as fast as an airplane. Even a slow-flying airplane. 34 knots is just not going to keep up, or 36 knots is not going to be able to keep up with a 100-mile-an-hour aircraft. Now our destroyers are going after that battleship. They're very brave of them. A little stupid, too, but, that works if we get the win. Still looking good for our team. Fairly good. I got 4 airplanes shot down now. And with no aircraft carrier to return to, they've become, well, kind of useless. And I'm starting to realize, wait a minute, these guys can't refill, so I'm just going to start getting out of here. I go after the one set, because I know, man, I can get this guy. And actually, they're both in range, so I'm just going to start turning the other way. If I get him, I get him. If I don't, I don't. But I'm ready to get back into action here. There goes one. But got a lot of battleships left, and look what's happening. It's not so good on our side. We just lost another ship. And I got the other one. So now all of the aircraft are splashed at this point. There are no more airplanes on the map. Here's where the Yubari falls into the black hole. It's kind of, what do you do now? Well, you harry the other ships and try to cap, and there's a big fella. I'm thinking maybe I can get close enough to get some torps off. Once again, though, you got to get pretty dang close, because 6-kilometer range, and here's where you can see the arc. This is what I was talking about. In most torpedo ships, you could fire right now. I can't. I have to keep turning my ship till I'm completely broadsided to this guy. There's no question in his mind that I'm firing torpedoes, which of course gives him the opportunity to get out of there. So I'm just going to turn away. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try to go head to tail to nose with this guy. I'm getting out. He may not have realized that I fired torpedoes. I'm going to try to distract him a little bit. Oh, good. He turned aside. Well, that makes it a little easier to hit, right? And none of them. It was a complete and total miss. But I did get his anti-aircraft. And they've killed another one of our ships. But, you know, don't discount the guns. Every little bit counts, right? So I just keep pounding on them and I'll try to launch another set. But I decide not to because our battleship is now in there, and if I fire, he might cross my path. So I decided, well, it's probably a better idea just to hold on to the torpedoes and not try to damage our friendlies there. So keep the guns rolling. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to torp this guy. Not that we really need to at this point. He's almost dead. And I'm just watching. Boom! Goodbye. Oh, it's 8-8. So, now what? We've got one battleship left. 2 aircraft carriers and a destroyer and myself. And I'm thinking, well, maybe we ought to cap. I'm trying to find a way that I can get in and use my torpedoes, but I just don't think that's going to pan out on this battle. So I decide instead, well, we're going to start capping here and see if we can't put an end to this. Because those guys could, depending on their health, they could kill all of us pretty easily, actually. Really, with our battleship in the condition that it's in, we're not doing so good. And he's shooting down our airplanes. So we get some nice hits. Trying to set him on fire here. Uh-oh, this guy's getting really close. I'm thinking maybe I can sneak into this little area here. I had a great battle in the Sims the other day where I was able to sneak in and get a guy coming around the crest like that. But this guy's just too close. He already knows. He already knows I'm here, and that's, oh, and definitely knows I'm here. So I'm trying to get close enough where I can get these torps off. There we go, in range. And now I have torpedoes coming in at me. It was my destroyer. Not really paying attention to what was around him. It's okay, it happens. I've done the same thing myself and killed people on my team before. So here we go. Once again, we have a nice barrage of torps going out. Ooh, it was close. And this is looking less and less like victory for us. And he hit me again good that time. So I'm going to hightail it out of here. I'm getting too close. My torps are still going. I'm hoping. I'm praying for a hit. And I get it. But it's not enough to sink the dude. In fact, it did about a quarter of his health. Caused flooding, but he hasn't been damaged lately, so he probably was able to repair it right away. I don't see him foundering. But still, I get points for it, so. And he's shooting at me again. Oh, he gets some good hits. Other guy misses.
Problem solved, sir.
And our aircraft carrier saying, I got 2 planes left. And I'm thinking, oh man. This is not looking good for me. So I'm just trying to get away here at this point. I thought that was a nice torp strike, though. Pretty long distance, and unfortunately I just went out of the circle, so I screwed up any hopes of capping that we had. So I'm going to circle back in. Uh-oh. And we just lost the destroyer. So things are starting to look down. We still have 3 heavy battleships out there. They all look like they're in good shape. I'm getting a little concerned. How's this going to end? Ugh. Well, let's find out. So far, I'm out of the range of everybody. Now this big guy up close, I'm in range for him. I think he's about to get hit. Nope. They miss. Our aircraft carriers are left very unprotected at this point. Somehow I'm still alive. Oh, we got 2 minutes left. I don't know if it's enough time for us to cap, but I'm stopping my ship right here, and I'm going to stay in the lee of this island, hopefully left alone. But you know that they have alarms going off on their side, that they are aware that I'm capping. I'm thinking maybe. Unfortunately, this destroyer, or I'm sorry, the battleship looks like it's going to move in, the one on the right. Torpedo bombers are out. And they've dropped a bunch of torpedoes at the closest destroyer. He might be going down. You can see there the torpedoes disappearing and doing damage. The second volley is out. They keep telling me, please don't die. I'm getting ready to launch torps if necessary. But I'm also drifting backwards and realizing, oh, wait a minute. So this is probably going to end up being a draw. I don't quite remember what happens at the end here, but I'm hoping to get the cap. But as you can see, the enemy battleship is pulling into the cap circle. So he's effectively going to block the cap. And you can see here where the arc could be a problem. If I can't get turned fast enough, I won't be able to hit him. But I'm also trying to lay concealed here. And we got 4 seconds left. Oh, bummer. What are you going to do? So it's a draw. You can see there I'm premium, so made 157,000 plus credits. I'm trying to get it to go. There we go. Second highest score on the team. Shot down 6 aircraft. Also did a bunch of damage, about 60,000 damage total, including a 9,000 damage torpedo hit. It's not bad. You know what? Not bad. So now we're in our second battle here, and we are out and about. Similar layout as the last one, different map for sure. And as you can see here, it's just, I'm going to cut across and try to stay with the main battle group. We have much more Moosin. We have far less ships on our battle in general than we normally do, so it's a very small battle. And you can notice here on that board, it was very nice matchmaking too. It's all tier 4 ships and tier 3 ships, so I'm top tier in this one, which means the aircraft that are going to be less advanced. Though I think in that last battle they were pretty much stage 1 aircraft too. They were all biplanes, so gonna have the same airplanes to face. What that also means, though, is that I'm going to be taking a little bit more of a leading role on my team. Obviously, I'm one of the few cruisers on the team, so I am going to have to step up a little bit and get a little bit more aggressive as far as my play style. But I don't want to get too nuts. Once again, this ship is not good at offensive. It's a defensive ship, and you have to play it as such. You can get somewhat aggressive with it, but don't expect it to last if you try to take it into full combat. It's going to get ripped up. It's really meant for secondary. You can see here big guns firing, and I'm probably going to take some hits there. But I'm out of range. Tier 4. They're at 12 kilometers, so most Tier 4 ships do not have a 12-kilometer reach. That one did. And just turn your butt to them and get away. So we've discovered most of their team now. I can see the torpedo bomber coming in over there. There's our friendlies. Look at those shots. And there's their torpedo bombers and their fighter. And I'm going to try to get around the battleships here because that's probably who the torpedo bombers are going to go after. And we've taken out one of their destroyers already, so hooray for us. Look at that little battleship. I think is that the Phoenix? I don't know. It's the first American battleship. It's little. It's smaller than my ship. And here come the bombers. As I predicted, they're going to go after our slow-moving battleships. So, in the meantime, I'm going to start firing on all these juicy targets. And I get lucky. Get a hit. And we are now in full anti-aircraft mode. And I'm just going to keep heading that direction towards them. I think the red means that I'm engaging them. There we go. Tearing them to shreds. I'm just going to hang over here. That aircraft carrier has to be peeing his pants right now. He's got to be pretty mad. He's losing a lot of airplanes. Interestingly, your ship only attacks one group of aircraft at once. It's not like a multi-attack. You'd think maybe the guys on the front would attack certain planes and the guys in the back would attack others, but that's not how it works. And you can see, once again, this is all, I don't want to say stock, but these guys only have the first perk for the secondary armament. They do not have any kind of specific anti-aircraft skills. And so, you know, we're doing pretty good. And now we got the fighter planes coming in. I'm going to try to get them in range. But in the meantime, we still have to fight ships. So, I don't know what I was thinking there. Warning shot? I think we're past warning shots at this point. I think that's the Wicks. This guy's all over the place. I'm just not hitting anything. Oh, and he's almost dead. If I could just get a couple of hits on him, we put him out of his misery. Nope. Now I'm shooting in front of him. I'm like, what? Oh, dang it. Definitely have to work on my gunnery. Yeah, I'm still somewhat of a noob. And I'm getting real close to this island here, and I'm thinking, I better go the other way. I was going to try to make a left, and I'm like, nah, I want to get on this battleship over here and see if I can get some torpedoes off, but at this point, I'm just not going to make that turn. Ah, but there's the Wicks again. Let's see if we can get this dude. Oh, somebody else got him already. But out of spite, I'll give him some bullets. Oh, I can finally hit him when he's not moving. Oh, what is this? Got a battleship up there. He's still a long way off. It looks like we got a cruiser or a battleship. That's a battleship. Uh-oh, there's our torpedo bombers. So I'm going to start heading that way and see if I can make trouble with those bombers. So far, I've got 7 aircraft kill. I can't believe I actually hit that. Just a little too far ahead. You can see there, it got some real nice damage there. These are just HE shells. 1,500 damage on a battleship. That's not bad for HE. Uh-oh. Incoming. Oh, and he missed. Unfortunately, the aircraft carrier got the torps away. I'm going to move over and try to get these aircraft intercepted before they start heading back. And the aircraft carrier guy sends them right over me. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm sweating right now because I got all these ships coming in. I'm like, but I need to chase these guys. So there's the Yubari. There's one. And here comes the second group. Look at this. All right, well, we'll just keep circling around. See if we can't give these guys heck. And now the aircraft carrier is getting wise. He sent that other group a different direction, and he's controlling them away from me. So he's starting to get smart. Oh, and a group of fighters. But I'm going to head back and try to help our battleship. And the fighters are in range. Goodbye, fighters. Oh, and goodbye, more fighters. And now I'm out in the middle. But I'm not really getting fired on by anybody. And we are sinking their ships, so... You know, you have to rely on your team, but if you can keep them alive, especially those battleships, you know, that's what's going to win you the game. And that is what my goal is as a anti-aircraft ship. So it doesn't mean I can't have fun and fire torpedoes and kill other ships, but it does mean that I need to focus on staying where the airplanes are and really trying to help out by... being a pest to those airplanes. Here we have a Yubari cruiser. So he's our anti-Yubari. And I'm missing like crazy. And Evelyn's coming in my room. Hello, Evelyn. Shh.
Tomorrow I finish my school year, and so does Seth.
Tomorrow's the last day of school?
Yep, and then we're done for the year.
Hey! My kids are homeschooled, so... my wife homeschools them, and it's quite a chore. She's done for the year. That's awesome. Right on schedule, Chuck. That's when all the kids are getting out of regular school too. So you're doing good, honey. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh, I was trying to get behind the battleship so that I'm not out in front when these guys come after me. And their Yubari has crashed into the shore. I'm trying to get some shots off before he gets out of there, but I think at this point I wasn't sure it was a Yubari. And unfortunately, in doing so, switching positions, that is, with the destroyer, I am now on the wrong side. And those torpedo bombers are coming in. And I'm like, uh-oh. And so now he's taking some hits. And I'm thinking, man, I need to get these guys in range before they... Oops. They already launched. So I'm just taking a shot. Not too worried about the torpedoes. The ship's fast enough that once again it can kind of scoot around them and get hits on that Yubari. He's going after our destroyer. Oh, nice shot. Kills our destroyer. But we're doing fine. Oh, nice hit. That was a maximum hit right there. I got a Citadel. Man, here come the airplanes. Perfect. Feed me. I'm hungry. And I'm looking at this dude. He's firing at me now. I'm firing back. Got another airplane down. Got another airplane down. Well, by the way, you know, you get a lot of points and money for shooting those airplanes down. So we're up to 15 aircraft. Not sunk. Splashed. And getting ready to launch torps. I know it looks like he is too. We're both doing the same exact thing. You can tell. And this is the mistake that I made in my last battle. I didn't keep turning, and he's doing the exact same thing that I did. He forgot to turn. He did launch his torpedoes. He's launched them at the destroyer rather than me. And he's not turning. If he would have turned, he would have been fine. But
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
You can have that, buddy. Oh, he did launch some torpedoes at me. Look at that. There they come. And I think the airplanes might be doing the same. Time to take down that last fighter. The last bomber. And now we can go after the carrier. And Mogorodnikov says, find the carrier. I'm like, I know, I'm on it. And then the other guy says, get the cap. But it's too late. I'm already off the cap. There's no turning back. He said, quit wasting time. Whatever. All right. So I think you guys get the gist. Well, no, you know, we'll bump ahead here a little bit. And unfortunately for me, the carrier appears on the other side of the island. I'm thinking I'm going to chase him around. But as I'm watching things progress, I'm realizing he really is. He's actually pushing the battleships. It's an interesting maneuver. He's not trying to get away anymore. In fact, I think I have probably shot down all of his torpedo bombers at this point. So he's just suiciding at this point. He's got nothing left but that fighter group. And since we don't really have any, well, we got some torpedo bombers out, but I'm not going to be there in time. So I decide, well, you know what? Instead of going around the island, I'm just going to make a U-turn here. He's already in the cap circle, and we can start getting some more points. This guy's pretty much done. I mean, there's no way he's going to survive this. Is he? Nope. He's got nothing offensive left. So and we're catching him on fire. And I'm holding my fire here because, well, obviously, I don't want to splash our Miyogi. Not that I do that much damage to him, but it could look potentially bad. They're already yelling at me for not staying in the cap circle, so you know what? Bite me. Sorry. And a win. So let's take a look at the stats. 177 once again earned, so I've made over 300,000 credits in 2 battles. 3,000 experience. I was the top. No, I was not the top scorer. 3rd top scorer on the team. Well, with our Tier 3 South Carolina bringing in a nice score there. So, yeah. 18 airplanes shot down. I did get a torpedo strike on that Yubari, which killed him. And I did a decent amount of damage here. So, you know, I really like this ship. I'm enjoying it very much. Once I figured out how to play it, it is a lot of fun, and it makes a decent amount of money. It's a good ship. Don't let people tell you it's bad. It's not that bad. Hope you guys had a good night and enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and to subscribe. Have a great night.